Arigato gozaimasu. I'm Private Hudson, and this is Ideal Rays. I was provided a key by the developer to make a video on this game. I saw some cool mech action and anime waifus, clicked request, and thought, sure, why not? What I didn't realize at the time is that this game is sold on another platform as an adult game, if you know what I mean by adult. Nudge nudge, wink wink, say no more, say no more. However, thanks to a very intelligent and useful discussion the developer decided to have with ChatEBT, he re-released the game on Steam as an all-ages version with the adult content removed. Except, Steam decided to flag the game as adults only anyway. The game got review bombed for being an adult game with no adult content, and 6 months later, in December 2025, the developer released an adult DLC that costs 4 times as much as the game itself. Apparently that version is missing the non-consensual content that was in the original release, which according to the Steam reviews was about half the content in the original game, so it got review bombed again. Oh man, this guy just can't win. Now, I've never played the original adult version, and I wasn't given a key for the adult DLC, so I have no idea what is missing or what they mean by non-consensual. Is it like Donald Trump's favorite pastime, grape? Is that what they mean? Because it doesn't appear that the text was really modified for this all-ages release. Characters still refer to your relationship with your anime waifu android as basically using her as a sex bot. There are also some questionable scenes and dialogue throughout the game, particularly the drain attacks that restore your health and energy, which involve your android either sucking on another android's tongue or splitting their legs open while taking photos of their lower region. With that out of the way, is Ideal Rays worth it for $6 without all the grape and the adult content? While clearly not the same thing, it reminded me a little bit of Wartech for the Xbox 360, Zone of the Enders for the PS2, and Virtualon for the Sega Saturn. But at the end of the day, no, I don't think it's worth purchasing. Ideal Rays took me a little over 6 hours to beat, which is actually fair for the $6 price tag. Unfortunately, I'd say about half that time is spent on a story that is mostly gibberish. The English translation is awful. Sometimes the English text literally gets cut off on the side of the screen. Only the female androids have voice acting for some reason, and the encyclopedia that explains some of the characters doesn't unlock until you beat the game. The story throws tons of terms at you and expects you to already understand the world, but there's no manual, and there's no way to look up any background information beforehand. As far as I can tell, your pathetic otaku main character is shopping for a new android. He complains about their premium prices. A terrorist attack happens, and it awakens a special android called Ideal. You get it? AI? Ideal? Ideal? Huh? That's very clever. For some reason, she claims you as her owner, and over the rest of the game, the main character falls in love with her while you fight other female androids for reasons that I honestly don't understand unless I decide to learn Japanese. There's also some incredibly bad dialogue about fairies and android emotions, lines like, "We have no heart, but we have the power to understand yours," and so on. Another strange decision is that the credits roll after every single chapter. Yeah, the same credits. 10 times, because there's 10 chapters. Thankfully, you can skip them by pressing X and A at the same time, but still, why? Combat is flashy and chaotic, but like the story, it's not really explained at all. There's no tutorial, there's no training mode, and there's no manual. The game has controller support, and I played it with a controller, but the only time controller buttons appear on screen is on the pause menu. In the main menu where you check your skills and attacks, it only shows you mouse controls. During boss fights, Ideal sometimes tells you what strategies to use, but these are blink and you miss it subtitle moments on the bottom of the screen during already chaotic combat. And it doesn't help that she either tells you something like, "This move activates by holding left mouse click," or she just says the name of the move, and she unlocks like a dozen of them throughout the game. It wasn't until the second to last chapter that I finally memorized that Mirage line means dodge. Everything else? I still have no idea what the hell the moves are called. Basically, the combat boils down to this. Mash X to attack, mash A to dodge, Hold left bumper for a shield, and hold right bumper to use a special attack, which depends on how close you are to the enemy. Near the end of the game, I finally realized that holding X activates the drain attack, which restores your health and the energy that's required for special moves. Even then, I still had no idea what the difference was between abilities like Counter and Exterminator, or the third close-range attack, which I forgot what it's called. Once I got to Chapter 6, a little over halfway through the game, I had to lower the difficulty from normal to story. Part of the problem is the sound mix. The audio balance during combat is completely different from the story scenes. The voice acting, other than the irritating porn-like moaning sounds, is mixed extremely low. Combined with the tiny subtitles, I couldn't even tell when Ideal was giving me advice during the fights. So yeah, combat looks flashy and awesome, but in reality, it's mostly button mashing with not that much effort required from the player. Graphically though, I do like the game. It looks like a super high-resolution Dreamcast title. The visuals are sharp, reflections look nice, and the animations for the female androids are great. The male characters, on the other hand, look all terrible. But I suppose for an H game that's by design, I don't know. I also noticed that some scenes have oversaturated colors, and the characters' lips don't move when they speak. Now, when you have multiple androids in the same scene, it can be hard to tell who is talking. This could have been fixed very easily. In the audio department, the music is fantastic. Lots of synth-heavy techno and dance tracks that fit the combat well. The Japanese voice acting sounds robotic. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. It was intentional since they are androids. And since I don't speak Japanese, I can't really judge the performances beyond that. So, what does that leave us with? We're left with a great-looking game with super flashy combat that has awesome music, but suffers from a terrible English translation and almost no explanation of how its combat actually works. Honestly, if the translation were improved, if a tutorial or a training mode were added, and if the game simply showed you the controller prompts instead of mouse controls, I would have easily recommended it just for the flashy combat alone. The developer clearly has some real talent when it comes to graphics, animation, and presentation. I'd absolutely be interested in seeing what they make next. But, buddy, let me tell you something. If you're gonna make an H game, just release it as an H game on Steam in the first place. I'm Private Hudson. If you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you folks next time.